Hello, my lovely listeners. I'm Dr. Mary Barson.
And I'm Dr. Lucy Burns. Welcome to this episode of Real Health and Weight Loss.
Good morning, lovely listeners. Dr. Mary here from Real Life Medicine. And today I'm excited because I've got a special guest. I have got fabulous Lee Holden here, a worldwide Qi Gong expert who's going to tell us a little bit more about this fabulous tool for health and wellness. And it's something that I am interested in and that I have, I would say, dabbled in for a while now. And I'd love to go over to you, Lee. Could you tell our lovely audience a bit more about you and what you do?
Mary, I just love being introduced as fabulous Lee Holden. That was really nice. I just got super pumped up about that.
Good.
As you said, Mary, I'm my specialty is in Qi Gong. I was lucky enough right out of college to go to Asia, study with some amazing Qi Gong masters, get hired to be their ghostwriter, write 8 to 10 books for them. And that was my early 20s, just going back and forth to Asia and studying with all these incredible people and really having to dive in because I was writing the material. It was very different than just being a student. I had to be a student, then organize my thoughts, and then write it up to them, present it to them, and turn them into actual books. And one of the focuses that I studied was Qigong for health, digestion, metabolism, and weight loss. And over the years, I've created some metabolic programs using Chinese medicine and specifically for weight loss. And I was hired by Weight Watchers, and I was their sort of worldwide consultant on things that were beyond the scale. So we created this beyond the scale program. It was called Qi Flow at one point. It was a mind-body program that we took out and released all across the country and then worldwide. And it was a great just 3-year deep dive into metabolism and weight loss and all the different facets around that, presenting it to their audience, all their Weight Watchers leaders, and creating a program specifically for Weight Watchers. So I really learned a lot about this market and this particular facet of health and wellness.
I've got lots of my own views on here, but first of all, tell me what is Qigong? What does it actually look like, and what does it do for your health and wellness that is so helpful?
I think the hardest part about Qigong is saying it, Qigong, what is this?
Yeah.
It's spelled Qi-Gong, and it's pronounced Qi Gong. Now, Qi simply means life force energy. Life force energy. Gong means work. So we're working with life force energy. What is life force energy? Well, it could really be anything. It could be the energy of our minds, the energy of our bodies, the energy of our emotions, and then really how they all are interconnected and interrelate. And so when we look at Eastern medicine, we see the connections and the relationships between these different, let's say, energy systems. We look at, does emotional stress affect your physical body? What is the quality of your thoughts? So somebody might come in to a Chinese medicine doctor and say, I have headaches or have sluggish metabolism. And we might ask them, what's your stress levels like? How are your relationships? How are you sleeping? And we might tie it all together and create a protocol that would help them. In Western medicine, as you probably experienced, Mary, there's a lot of specialization where we have a problem in our bodies, we see a doctor. We have a problem in our emotions, we see a psychologist. We have spiritual issues, we see a priest, but nobody's really talking.
It can be siloed. I do see that. I'm a general practitioner, so I try and sit between those silos, but it definitely does happen. Absolutely.
It does happen, right? Yeah. And so now in Chinese medicine, especially, we see a root cause of an illness or a problem. And we could see that as stress. Some kind of stress to the system creates a big problem. Now we can also look at stress as a big connection to weight loss or weight gain, because when we're under stress, your body's in fight or flight. And when we're relaxed, your body's at rest, what we call parasympathetic rest and digest. We say that for a reason, because energy will go to digestion when you're relaxed. So what we're going to look at is how are you handling stress, as a first and foremost thing for weight loss. Let's be better at lowering our stress and bringing energy. Now, what we can also do in Qi Gong is very much target our digestive organs, because in Chinese medicine, we see digestion as, let's say, a fire, metabolic fire. And if the fire is weak, if you put a log on the fire, it doesn't burn, it smolders. So the wood would be the food we eat, and your body would be the metabolic fire. So we're going to say, okay, what kind of wood are you putting on the fire? And how strong is your fire itself? Let's strengthen the fire, and let's put better wood on the fire, and you're going to convert food into energy. I think people forget that we're eating for energy. We're not just eating because it tastes good, but eat for energy, eat for Qi.
I love that. We have an analogy that we use a lot, Dr. Lucy and myself, about the woodshed, and that this idea that our metabolism is a fire and that you do want to fuel it with the best fuel. And in particular, we talk about the wood being like fat. Your own fat stores in particular are the energy that is out in your woodshed, and that you want to improve the quality of your food so that your body's able to work properly and go out and access the wood in your woodshed, rather than just, high carb food, processed foods is like the kindling that you put on the fire that flashes for a little bit and then dies down. So there's a nice little synergy there. But you're absolutely right. Stress, when we are in a stress state, when we've got that sympathetic nervous system activation, it can be detrimental to every aspect of our health. I think that high levels of stress, chronic day in, day out stress, are very common in the modern world, and they can be so detrimental. So how could someone out there listening who, thinks this sounds absolutely fabulous and they would like to do something about their stress levels, and they think that Qi Gong could be a great way to do it, how could somebody start? Like, where would you start with this?
Absolutely. And I think starting is so crucial. Now, folks, if you start your Qi Gong practice, I got to warn you, it's kind of addicting. It feels really good to lower your stress and increase your energy. And Mary, one good definition, sort of a modern definition of Qi Gong, is less stress, more energy. Think of that as a practice of lowering stress. Now, stress might be pain. It might be tension in your neck and shoulders. It might be work. However we perceive and process and internalize our stress, we want to transform stress back into vitality. So Qi Gong is a process and a practice that will do it. We're going to do it through breathing exercises. We're going to do it through gentle stretching. We're going to do it through some body conditioning. And we're going to do it through getting ourselves into flow state, into moving our bodies with relaxation as opposed to tensing. Relaxation takes training, because we're hardwired to go into stress, to perceive danger. And we don't have to do a podcast on teaching people how to worry or become stressed out. They got that wired. They got that nailed. We have to retrain some of these things so that we can learn the tools, skills, have the resources to go like, you know what? I'm feeling stress. My body's tightening up. My thoughts are more heavy or more on the negative side. Now let's transform that particular state into relaxation and flow. Now, Qi Gong is, I find, one of the best ways to do that. And the best way to learn, I think, was just, come check out like a YouTube program of mine, or we have all kinds of condition-specific things on our website. And we have a free 2-week trial, so people can just come and try weekly classes with me free for 2 weeks at Holden Qi Gong. So the Holden is my last name, Qigong, and just come try Qi Gong for 2 weeks free.
Sounds fabulous. And what kind of changes have you seen for people that manage to get their stress down?
Big. And people call it like miraculous, because all of a sudden you've activated the natural healing power in your body. When we're in parasympathetic, your body knows how to heal. It knows how to allocate energy and resources towards healing. Like digestion, when we're stressed out, your body isn't concerned with internal healing when there's external perceived danger. And, our stress levels are often an overreaction, because just because we're sitting in traffic, or we have to give a presentation, or you got to go talk to your boss, doesn't mean your life is threatened. So we have to relax that and calm it down so we don't chronically get placed under stress. And I don't know about you, Mary, but I read a study that 89% of primary doctor visits are stress related. So it's really high that the reason people go to doctors is because the root cause is stress. What do you think of that?
I think that stress is very pervasive and that it can be a contributor or either the cause, a contributor, or like a perpetrating factor in almost all presentations. It is true that chronic stress does lots and lots of bad things for our health. Like a little bit is kind of normal. Like, if you literally are being chased by a bear, then you need to have your fight or flight response really intact.
That's a good time to have that fight or flight
response. Definitely. Even if you're sitting for an exam. Yeah.
Mary and I have been chased by a bear, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yes. You're in Canada. Yeah. Wow. My dad's Canadian. He's been chased by a bear. Okay. No, now you have to tell us your bear story. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm 13 years old. I'm in Alaska fishing with my dad. And we're watching the salmon jump up the waterfall, up the river. And out of the bushes right behind me, huge grizzly bear. This grizzly bear's head was bigger than me. So that was my first feeling of fight or flight. I mean, I was like, I felt my heart jump into my throat and my stomach twist. And, the fishing guide said, don't run. But everything in my body told me, run, So we slowly walked away, and I was like so stressed out, but so exhilarated at the same time of being face to face with wild nature.
Absolutely. And your fight or flight response was protecting you.
It was, right? And that's a good time. Or when you're like, standing on the edge of a cliff, it's like, I'm glad I have fear right now. This is appropriate response. So I think it's delineating those appropriate responses, fight or flight in short bursts, but not, as you were saying, Mary, not chronic, not long-term, not so frequent. And, stress is a good thing in short bursts, like exercise. We want to put our body under some stress so that we become what we call in Qi Gong resilient. So you train it, you use stress, but don't let stress use you.
Absolutely. I have to go back to the bear because my dad is Canadian. He grew up in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And when he was 10 years old, he was chased by a mama bear. And he got taught bear safety in school, which I think makes great sense. And he had some clothing and some shopping with him, which he dropped because that's apparently what you do. And it worked. The bear sort of stopped to smell the shopping and he managed to keep running. But he still talks about this, like, time slowed down, that's the big adrenaline response. I think possibly Australian equivalent might be seeing a poisonous snake, which I have a few times, but it's just not quite as sexy a story. Yeah. I think you probably
or
win
a great
this one.
white shark, maybe, if you're swimming, that's
totally, yes.
Of the ocean. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And then it turns out it's a dolphin. Yeah, or something like that. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I love that resilience because the point with good quality stress management, it's not to avoid stress because life is going to be stressful. Mortgage rates are going to be unpredictable. Our kids are going to be kids. Life is going to, occasionally or often be challenging. But if you can improve the way that you are able to deal with the stress, like balancing your central nervous system, spending more time in that parasympathetic rest and digest response, spending more time cultivating that. And like you said, getting better with practice, then your health can improve in myriad ways. These are things that we teach in our programs. We see this time and time again for our beautiful people that it really does help you lose weight. It really does help you reduce inflammation. It can be a useful tool for autoimmune illnesses. It can help you sleep. It can sort of trickle over and flow over to every single aspect of your life. I like what you said, that the key is consistency. Like, how much time do you think people would need to invest in a lovely practice like Qi Gong to be able to reap these benefits?
Yeah, and it's a great question. And what I love about Qi Gong is it's so accessible. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to change your clothes. You can come home from work and do 20 minutes and lower your stress and increase your energy. And the thing about Qi Gong practice is it will increase your energy. And when you are energized, you are a better version of yourself. And when you have energy, you don't get overwhelmed by the little things. So people that are depleted of energy, little things stress them out because they're just like, I just don't have the energy to deal with one more kid crying, with one more little irritation. I'm maxed out. If your energy levels are higher, you're much more resilient and you have much more space to hold things. This is so good for parents and working parents because you're like, I need energy for myself to be able to be more resilient, to be able to go with the flow of life's demands because kids are unpredictable, life is unpredictable, stock market, work, retirement. We have to hold all these things with a calmness and a clarity that keeps us more balanced. And so Qigong practice is going to give you more energy. It's going to be increasing your return as well. So the more you practice Qigong, the more energy you get, the less stress you have. The less stress you have, the more energy you'll get because stress is wearing on our system and it's depleting. So I would say a good solid 20 minutes of practice a day can do wonders. What I also recommend is maybe once or twice a week, do a full hour practice. And then, 3 or 4 times a week, do a 15 to 20 minute practice. That would be a great way to sustain a great practice for lowering stress and increasing energy.
Sounds great. And what if that sounds too hard? What if people say the idea of an hour, I just can't quite do that? Could they still dabble? Do you think they still find a way to get a regular practice with less time?
Absolutely. My 30-day challenge is 7 minutes a day. So I'm saying, you guys just try 7 minutes. That's like the push of a snooze button. Just 7 minutes a day for 30 days. Notice how you feel. And people feel a lot better. 7 minutes is almost like what I call a Qi break. So that's like I'm working all day. I've been sitting at my desk. I'm going to stand up and do my 7 minutes. It doesn't even have to be 7 minutes. It can be 3 minutes. Just take a little Qi break in the middle of your day. Stop and take some slow, deep breaths. That's going to replenish your energy. So there's going to be little things you could do and sprinkle in to your day when you get agitated, when you've noticed that you're really irritated in traffic or somebody says something to you and you just can't stop thinking about it. We need to discharge that energy so that we're not just carrying it around with us for multiple hours and we clear it. So there's a few things we could do for clearing in 2 or 3 minutes. There's, let's say, oh man, my neck and shoulder hurt. Oh, I got a headache. In class, I'll show a quick pressure point or a quick movement that will get rid of neck tension, that will release wrist pain, that will do something beneficial to your health and healing.
That's fabulous. I could see that with even small investments of time, you can get really, really fabulous results for yourself and for your health. I think being able to find that little time of stillness, that time where you can find that calmness, have a little Qi break, do some deep breathing, that habit, that regular habit of activating your parasympathetic nervous system, through whichever way you choose, through whatever kind of active relaxation that you choose, it's like the habit that makes all other habits possible. What we do day in, day out is what determines our results. And we can't control the lives outside of us. We can't control what the kids are saying, what our boss is saying, what the traffic is doing, what's on the news. The only thing we can control is what we do, whether we, choose to eat the chips, whether we choose to go outside for a walk, whether we choose to call our friends, whether we choose to lie on the couch and watch Netflix. But between that stimulus, the boss being unhelpful or that really triggering thing and what we do, we have this space to choose. But the more stressed you are, the more that space shrinks, the more reactive you can become. But with a nice, regular relaxation practice, that space can expand and you can really find your own power and your freedom to choose your responses. So relaxation is the habit that makes all other habits possible. I feel very passionately about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And the nice thing about Qigong, you train relaxation directly. You're doing flowing movements, slow, meditative flowing movements. So you're embodying a state of relaxation. Because if we just say relax to somebody, they're just like, I am relaxed. And they're wearing shoulders as earrings. And they think
Yes.
they're relaxed, but they're not really relaxed. So you got to actually train it as a skill, put some time into it. Now, when we walk around with too much tension in your body, think about if you flex your muscles in your arms and do that for a couple of hours, you're going to be tired afterwards. You're going to be depleted because you're holding contraction. You're actually investing your precious life force energy into holding these contractions. If you can relax, now you're not investing energy anymore. You're saving energy. You're going to have a lot of energy for other things. So in relaxation, you get more energy. So it's a little bit counterintuitive for people in that energy management is about relaxation first and foremost. And then it's about flow, and then it's about breath, and it's about eating, and it all comes together in a really beautiful way. And I don't think people know how much energy potential they actually have. It's kind of normalized now to think life is about, being stressed out, having lots of, pain or tension or body problems, and kind of just like getting through. It doesn't have to be that way. We can lead really healthy, vibrant, happy, fulfilling lives when you have the right tools and techniques. And I think, Qi Gong is one of those resources that I think we all really need in modern life, even though it's an ancient practice. I think is more relevant now than ever before.
Yes. I completely agree. And I love how your program is called Beyond the Scales. There are things that do not completely philosophically align with us and Weight Watchers in several ways, but I love Beyond the Scales because I believe that focusing primarily on the scales really misses the point. I believe that real health, metabolic healing, it's about your health, your wellness, your longevity. It's about your entire life and not just, counting calories and losing weight. Though weight loss is a wonderful, happy side effect.
And that's why they brought me in at the time. They said, let's not just solely focus on counting calories, because I was like, I'm not going to come help you guys count calories. We're going to talk about stress. We're going to talk about enjoy your body. And like when I first came in and I started teaching people movement, they were like, oh my God, this is the first time I've enjoyed moving my body. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to a yoga class. I want to enjoy my body. And so we were doing some stuff in the chair and people were like, I feel energy. I feel relaxed. Then it was like very natural for them to make better choices because automatically you've lowered your stress. What you choose when you're stressed out often is quick fixes, high carbs, habituations, where you make that choice maker, as you were saying, Mary, when that choice is more online towards your goals and desired results is when we're less stressed and we're feeling more balanced. And now we're like, I'm making healthy choices and it's effortless. And though that's what people were finding with this program, unfortunately in Weight Watchers, they went back to just counting calories. They kind of went back to their old model with a new CEO coming in and this, that. And so they kind of said like every adjacent program that we started, we're stopping. So it was a great 3-year run and we made a lot of traction, but it's hard to move the whole entire company philosophy in just a little bit with some things, what they thought was, wow, this is really strange, Qi Gong, but it really resonated with their audience.
Yes.
So I learned so much from that experience.
Oh, fantastic. Would you be able to give our beautiful listeners like a little taste of Qi Gong now? Like maybe if they're driving a car, but I don't know, I'll leave it to you. Maybe if they are driving a car, but let's say that they're sitting down, walking around. What could we do right now?
Yeah. One of the things now, if you're driving and just kind of want to wait till you're not driving, the thing you can do while you're driving is just do some deep breathing. And let's just talk about what's the best way to breathe? Best way to breathe in and out through your nose. In and out through majority of the time we breathe through the nose for breathing, mouth for eating. It's a good kind of like Qi Gong thing. And so much science is coming out about breathing through the nose and the benefits of it. So you can do your own little research on that, but breathing slowly, 4 second to 5 second inhale, 4 to 5 second exhale. So just real slow breath and a real slow exhale. What's going to do, it's going to lower stress, kind of bring in that parasympathetic. It's going to replenish your energy. So if you take a pause and do a 4 or 5 second inhale with the 4 or 5 second exhale, then that's going to get you in tune with your choice maker. Then make a decision from that kind of clarity. You're going to make better decisions for your overall health or your goals. Now, let's feel a little Qi. I'm going to show your audience like a little pressure point sequence to feel what Qi feels like in your body. So take your fingernails and just rub them together like that. So if you're just listening, you take your fingernails, touch, and then rub back and forth. So your fingernails and maybe the knuckle just above your fingernails are rubbing vigorously back and forth. These are acupressure points at the ends of the meridian lines, the energy pathways where acupuncture or acupressure points are located. Now take one of those big deep breaths like we were just doing. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. And maybe we did that for 30 seconds or so. Put your hands down in your lap. See if you feel some energy in your hands. Buzzing or tingling, electricity. You know, Qi is your bioelectricity. We call it the animating power. So whether it's voluntary action, like we just did, rubbing our fingernails together, or involuntary action, like your heartbeat or your digestion, Qi is what's going to animate everything in your body. So it's the life force energy that we want to activate, and we want it to run smoothly. And so these exercises promote an activation of energy and a smooth flow of that energy, so all the systems in your body are powered up.
Wonderful. Oh, Lee, I think you are fabulous.
Thank you, Mary. I think you're fabulous too.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for coming on our podcast today and sharing your expertise and sharing that lovely exercise. If people want to find you, how can they best find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, come find me at holdenqigong.com, HOLDEN, and then QIGONG. And come try that 2-week trial and see if you want to do Qigong with me. You could do it live in that trial, or it's always recorded, so the classes are always on the website in that subscription area.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll make sure that link is in the show notes. I always point downwards. There's some people can't see me. They're just listening to me. But for people who just imagine me pointing down to the show notes on your listening device. All right. Thank you so much. It's very early in the morning for me, but I believe it's the middle of the day for you. So have a fabulous evening. And yes, we shall have to keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Let's keep in touch, Mary. Fantastic.
Gorgeous ones, you have heard a lot today about the vital importance of managing your stress and balancing out your beautiful central nervous system by spending some time in that lovely relaxation response. And Qi Gong is a fabulous and powerful way to get into that beautiful, relaxed state. So is hypnosis. And we have got a lovely free guided hypnosis that you can download and use to nurture yourself and to spend some very important time in that lovely, relaxed state. And this guided hypnosis has the added benefit of really having beautiful, powerful suggestions about nurturing and nourishing your body with lovely real food and nurturing your body with kindness. And you can get that fabulous guided hypnosis at rlmedicine.com/nurture, and the link will be in the notes. Thank you so much for listening.
So, my lovely listeners, that ends this episode of Real Health and Weight Loss. I'm Dr. Lucy Burns.
And I'm Dr. Mary Barson. We're from Real Life Medicine. To contact us, please visit rlmedicine.com.
And until next time, thanks for listening.
listening.
The information shared on the Real Health and Weight Loss podcast, including show notes and links, provides general information only. It is not a substitute, nor is it intended to provide individualized medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. nor can it be construed as such. Please consult your doctor for any medical concerns.